What's up, KSP fans? It's Dylloop, and welcome back to another exciting episode of my KSP tutorial series. Today we are going to be covering how to get to orbit. Luckily for you guys, we do not have much math, it's just straight action, so we're going to hit the launch button. It's rather simple with the maneuver nodes, which we'll explain later, and this rocket's a little bit funky to get into orbit. It does it fine, it's just a little different than some rockets. Every rocket's different, but they're all the basic concept. So what we're going to do now is hit the T button to turn on our SAS, hold shift to go all the way up, and press space. So for now we're just going to fly directly up until we hit up here, 10,000 meters. So if we have a 1 here and a 0 and then a 0, 0, 0, that's when we're going to want to start a gravity turn. A gravity turn is just just start turning while you're in close to Earth. It lets you do it more efficiently. Especially with these little winglets. Yeah, helpful little winglets. So what we're going to do is, first off, we know that these engines are going to run out. So we're going to have to decouple those as soon as they run out, which is right now. We drop them. They ran out I didn't see them run out, but we're a little late there, but this thing should be fine. So how it's different in this rocket build is that this center stage here does not have enough fuel to do the whole burn to circularize the orbit, so it's a little bit different. We have to get into a lower orbit. We're hitting 10 kilometers now, so what you're going to want to do is undo your SAS by hitting T, and then right now I'm pressing the D key. I'm turning my ship towards the 90-degree heading on the nav ball. So we're going to want to just kind of fight with gravity. Hit R to turn on your RCS if you're having trouble, because these are non-vectoring engines. So we're just kind of slowly going to the 90-degree mark. You don't want to do it too quickly. It's a little bit of wasteful. You want to end up there around 15,000, 18,000, doesn't matter. And then just full-on throttle. You could even do it at the 10,000. I like to slowly go there. So now we're just going to wait for these engines to run out. Then hit space to drop them. Alright, so now we're on one engine. We can hit M to go into our map mode, and then you're going to want to bring up your nav ball so we can see what we're doing. Alright, now this here is called an apoapse. This is the highest point in your orbit. I'm not sure if I've covered that yet, but this is your highest point in your orbit. We're going to wait until that gets up to 80. Right now it's to 60,000 meters, 62, 63, 64. We're going to wait until it hits 80,000 meters. And this little yellow marker on your nav ball is your prograde marker. That means that's the direction you're heading. It's always more fuel efficient to face towards it. Right now I'm facing just directly towards it, or at 90. So now we're just going to click along the line on our apoapse, add maneuver, and then bring out this. Now this is my prograde marker, as I just said. We're going to bring it out until we circularize it. Bring it back a little bit. And like that. Good enough, right? We'll fix it later. This is an estimated burn of 1 minute and 23 seconds, so we're going to want to start now. The reason I'm starting now is because this engine is not powerful enough to do the whole burn, so we're going to start at the exact same time. It's most efficient to go halfway. So if you have a 1 minute burn, it says node in T minus 1 minute, 0 seconds. You're going to want to wait until that says 30 seconds. But like I said, this cannot do the full burn all at once. And I'll explain in a second here. So what we're doing is we're just burning towards that blue marker on the nav ball. That's your node marker telling you which way to burn. And as you can see, my apoapse is raising a bit, but that's not a big deal. We'll circularize after we get a stable orbit. Stable orbit is anywhere above 70 kilometers above the Earth, or Kerbal. Alright, well, we should be able to get pretty close to a stable orbit. Not exactly there, but decently close. Just keep make sure you're always aligned with that marker. That's the most fuel efficient way to do it. Now you see these meters per second, that's your delta V counting down. That's how much delta V is required to do the maneuver. Alright, so we're going to drop that and light up our other stage, which is a little tiny engine. And we're going to cut our engine now, delete this maneuver, and do the same thing here. Now this is different on this rocket than a lot of others. Sometimes you can do it all in one burn. I can't, because this rocket's very minimalist. Alright, we just circularize actually, what I'm going to do is keep on burning here until I see my apoaps get to 100 kilometers. So I'm still aiming relatively prograde, but I'm a little bit higher, so the apoaps is raising a bit. We're going to wait until it gets to 100 kilometers, and then we're going to hit the X button to cancel all of our thrust all at once. So 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Not yet. Very close there. 180. 100 kilometers and 80 meters. And then we're going to add our maneuver here. Circularize as close as possible. Like so. If I can get it. There we go. There, 99. That's not right. Whatever. And then we're just going to turn towards our node here. And then, as you see, estimated burn 10 seconds. Node in T-minus 3 minutes. We're going to hit F5. That quick saves your game. Good. And then we're going to hit the period key to time warp. Until we get to about 5 seconds to the node. Now, don't time warp too quickly, because you could easily miss the node. I'm going to try not to. 20 seconds. 10 seconds, 9. Alright. 5 seconds, and burn. Should be a relatively simple burn. Very short. Wait until this reaches 0, and then you're just going to cut. Good. So now we have an apoaps of 100 meters. Or, 100,000 meters. And then a periaps of 100,000 meters. Circularized our orbit. It's a little bit inclined. I'll show you guys how to fix that right now. So what you're going to want to do to fix inclination so that it's lined up. It's actually lined up, believe it or not, to the moon. So maybe it's not inclined too much. Alright, so let's go over some maneuver node stuff. This is just basics. We'll go over more later in like the moon travel and stuff. I want to go over what your retrograde marker is. It's this marker. That's the opposite direction. It's the opposite of your prograde. And it's the same symbol but with an X in it. Cool. Alright, now we're going to show you guys some maneuvers that we can do. So if we add a marker here, we already know the prograde and retrograde. This is, the purple ones are your axis tilt. So you can tilt your axis with these. I forget what they're called exactly. And then we've got these. So these all do something different. This is burning towards the Earth. This is burning away from the Earth. This is burning parallel to the poles, or depending on where you're at. And this is, of course, burning in your direction. Good. So, simple. Say you wanted to go into polar orbit, which is orbiting sideways to the Earth. Good for satellites. What you want to do is grab this purple marker and pull it up. And it's going to skew out your orbit quite a bit. But then you're going to want to grab the retrograde marker and pull it in. And you're just going to alternate this. So just pull in the purple one. Pull in the retrograde. Until you get around there. And then we could actually circularize all in one maneuver. So if we grab it here, our other purple, and we bring the apoaps down to 100, 71, so let's bring it back up a bit. There we go, 92, that should be alright. 101, and there we go. And you could even make it perfect by pulling on the different nodes, and this is pretty cool. You can edit your orbital path however you want. It takes some practice, just kind of mess around with them, see what each one does. I mostly only ever use the retrograde markers. I sometimes use the purple ones. But as we can see now, if we did that maneuver, we would go into the Earth and eventually get out into the sun and stuff like that. So let's do a simple plane change. Why don't we line up our planes with Minmus? Minmus is this really far one that's really out there. So what I can do is set as target. Good. And then these are your declining and ascending nodes. So if I go in here into my descending node, and I click Add Maneuver, I can easily turn like this and align my orbits. If we look and line these up, we can actually easier see what we're doing. So this would be right there, would be lining it up. Fair enough. Actually fix that a bit. As you can see, as I'm doing the maneuver, see how it says descending node 0, 0 and descending node 0, 0? That's how we know it's perfectly aligned to the orbit. So it's a 34-second burn. We should be able to pull it off. Let's check our Apple apps and Peri apps. Peri apps 100, Apple apps 118. We could easily fix that. We're actually editing some stuff here. We don't want to do that, actually. So, line this back up. We'll do it after. Just bring these back down to 0 degrees. Good. Alright, so as we can see, we have a 34-second burn. That means at 17 seconds, because that's half of it, we're going to want to burn. So let's line ourselves up to the blue marker right here. Hit T and then time warp. We're going to want to line up a little better than that, actually. Time warp ahead. Cool. So, we just wait until we get, like I said, 17 seconds left on our burn. We could even not do this in the map mode. We can do it in here, and you can see that we're orbiting Kerbal. Pretty simple. There's the moon. We're in space. We will never fall out of space unless something pushes us out of space. Because we're falling around the Earth, and without an atmosphere to slow us down, we will never stop. So again, waiting till we get 17 seconds, 20, and start 3, 2, 1, and burn. Full throttle, that's what you're going to want to do. If you're not showing an estimated burn time, you're just going to want to do a quick burst, full throttle, and then hit X to cut it, and it should give you your estimated burn. And we should be able to do this relatively simple. Alright, we're only 12 minutes into this episode, and I'm, already done with it, so maybe this thing might have enough fuel to get out to Minmus. Let's see. Right. Burn is done. Good. So, if I delete the maneuver node here, as you can see, we're a little off, 1 degree. That should be enough, right? So we changed our plane. What if now we wanted to intersect Minmus? If we had a maneuver node here, we could even bring out our prograde, and as you can see, with that, we get an interception. No, we get an interception with the moon. Look at that. Nifty. But we do see that our closest approach is actually very large for Minmus. But simply, all we would have to do is move our node around our circle. See when we'd get the best approach. We have to burn a little extra. Alright, it'll be this way. There we go. It's right here. So now, we can just burn. Try to get it as close as we possibly can. Alright, good. It says an estimated burn time of 2 minutes. I don't think this engine can burn for a full 2 minutes is the thing. We might be able to cut that down just by bringing this down to a minimum. No, it's still about the same. 2-minute burn. That's crazy. Let's go to the moon instead. We're a little bit inclined, but we could still make it to the moon. So if I burn out, like so. There we go. That's actually a perfect orbital path. That's still a 2-minute burn though. Alright, I don't think this thing will get to the moon. I don't want to try it. Let's show you guys how to deorbit your spacecraft. But that's how you do maneuver nodes to encounter other objects. We'll go more into that in the later tutorials of the series. For now, let's look at how to deorbit. Rather simple. Deorbiting to land on KSP, that's the hard part. So what we're going to want to do is find our retrograde marker. Now that's the one with the X in the middle. Hit T to lock our SAS, and just full throttle ahead. Good. And then we'll see that our periaps is quickly dropping 50, 40, 30. Very good. Let's see if we can aim for a continent, like so. That's enough. So as you can see, your orbital lines hit the continent. We could even unmark Minmus as the target, unset target. And we should be ready to go. So all we would have to do is decouple. Good. Now all we have is the capsule and parachute. While we're up here, we can even do a risky EVA. You're falling to Earth, but you want to get out. So, turn on your jetpack with R and float around in space while we're falling to the Earth very slowly. See our rocket over there. And how you do that, and then you could come over here and hit F to grab, and F again to board. How you EVA is you just mouse over your Kerbal and hit EVA. You can even IVA. There's not much to this pod. You can't really see a whole lot. I could even rotate it. I think that's the window. Maybe not. And then hit C to get out of EVA. Yeah, I don't think there's... Oh, there is a window on this thing. It's too dark to see anything, though. Sorry, Genly. Can't see outside the window. Alright, time warp ahead. It should automatically untime warp you as soon as you enter the atmosphere. It'll go back to 1% time, like so. I'm now in the atmosphere. You could still do the physical time warp, which is cool. Spinning the capsule wildly. He's not interested. I'm having fun, though. Whee! It's a roller coaster ride. Let's see if we can face it towards the ground. Or just spin it. Spin it for him. It's like a bullet. Alright, it's probably not spinning that fast without the time warp. That's how fast it's spinning without the time warp. But with the time warp, it looks a lot cooler. It's like UFO. Cool. Untime warp down. Now, one of the cool things that were added in the newest update of 0.19 as this video was released was the reentry effects. There's no reentry heat yet, but we should start seeing the reentry effects soon. As we enter this stage of the atmosphere here, we should be going fast enough to see them. And I don't think we're going to land... No, we're not going to land on a continent. We're going to land in the middle of the ocean now. So we should start seeing them flare up. You can see somewhat, not very much. There we go, a little more. Coming in extremely fast, and we are getting a little tiny bit of reentry effects. We're not going very fast, so they're not huge. We could even turn the capsule and try to get more. See if we can try to see him from his view. Nope, that window's clouded over. He's breathing too hard. It's like a fireball coming through the atmosphere. And then, of course, when you reach the last section of the atmosphere, you're going to want to deploy your parachutes. Even the ladder is giving effects off. Look at that. So that's how to re-enter from an orbit. Alright, we can even time warp and see them fade away, and then they'll fade away into just about nothingness. Then we should get the second entry effects on the when we enter the other atmosphere here. No, maybe not. Not going fast enough. Nope, doesn't look like it. Alright, so we're gonna hit space, deploy our parachutes. I still haven't figured out the parachute bug. Not sure what's going on with that. I might have to re-download KSP or something. Who knows? Weird parachute bug. You guys know, leave a comment, because it's a little bit awkward. Alright, and that's slowing us down a little bit, not a whole lot. The parachutes normally look a lot better than this. These are supposed to be clear, but they're not. They're actually rendering. Like I said, I can re-download it. Fix it. Coming down, and about 500 feet, or 500 meters, the parachutes will open up and slow us down even more. We can go ahead and time warp for that. 2,000, 1,500, 10,000, 700, 600, 500, and open. At 500 meters, your parachute's open. And then we could even time warp faster. Now, because I'm over the sea, I'm going to land at sea level, which is 0, 0, 0. So, as long as I don't come up too fast, we should be fine. Don't even think at 4 times time acceleration in the ocean would be able to kill this thing. Those parachutes just look funky. Funky parachutes. Alright, and then we have successful splashdown. We could even EVA this guy. He could swim around in the oceans. Kerbal. There we go. Swimming around, waiting for a rescue boat on the dark side of Kerbal. I can time warp and have weird flashing. There you go. You just stayed awake for hours. Cool. Alright guys, I think that's about all for this episode of my KSP tutorial on how to get to orbit. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, leave your comments if you need help with anything. I'm happy to answer. I can't get back in my little capsule here. He's flopping around. I'm happy to answer it or make an extra tutorial in the series. So we'll see you guys later, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.